we're keeping our eye on Facebook. I know Facebook is one of the many platforms that we stream on, but we have to keep our eyes on them. There is a report now that has come out called the Facebook Papers, which shows that Facebook was fully aware. In fact, they did their own research into the harm that their system was causing. I want to read directly from the Washington Post. A trove of internal Facebook documents reveals that the social media giant has privately and meticulously tracked real-world harms exacerbated by its platforms, ignored warnings from its employees about the risk of their design decisions, and exposed vulnerable communities around the world to a cocktail of dangerous content. I want us to take a listen to this summary that was provided by The Recount as they put it all together, what's happening with Facebook.
When it rains, it pours for Facebook. But this is a straight-up tsunami. The tech giant may have confronted whistleblowers, congressional inquiries, and PR crises before, but it now faces them all at once in a perfect storm. On Friday, a consortium of nearly 24 news outlets began publishing a series of stories, collectively called the Facebook Papers. The reporting is based on hundreds of internal company documents, which were included in disclosures made to the Securities and Exchange Commission and provided to Congress in redacted form by Facebook whistleblower Frances Haugen's legal counsel. The documents reveal how Facebook has been privately and meticulously tracking real-world harms exacerbated by its platforms, has ignored warnings from its employees about the risks of their design decisions, and exposed vulnerable communities to dangerous content. The Facebook Papers include allegations that the company did not stop the steal misinformation following the 2020 election in the U.S., that it censored anti-government dissidents in Vietnam, and that it stoked violent ethnic conflicts in India. In a memo Saturday, Facebook's vice president of global affairs told employees, quote, "We need to steel ourselves for more bad headlines in the coming days, I'm afraid."
Now, Georgia, I also need to point out that Facebook, 55% of Facebook is owned by Mark Zuckerberg. He is the law. He's the captain of the ship. The buck stops with him. And all of these decisions, in many reports, employees have been disgusted because they bring this to his attention, and yet and still he makes these decisions, oftentimes autonomously. Now, the reason this is important is because if you notice all of the fruits, it's not as though Facebook is benefiting everybody. Facebook is benefiting specifically far right-wing ideologies. It's been documented over and over again. If you want to ask yourself the reason why, well, Facebook often gets to hide behind the veil of technology. But in this case, these are decisions being made by Mark Zuckerberg, who we can clearly see has an ideology, and that ideology is now being spread to billions of people on Facebook.
Well, and is there not a similar thread here of, this ability to act as though you don't have the power to intervene, to not protect vulnerable populations? If you are overseeing communications that are becoming threatening or seemingly violent, hateful, you don't have a duty to intervene? That's not your job. That's not your responsibility, right? Just turn the other cheek, act like you didn't see it. Nothing's happening here. We in America, we have cultivated this culture that, there's just nothing I can do about it. Oh, that's so unfortunate. And we will sit by it. It deeply disturbed me. The story that came out about the woman being raped on the train. And you had these onlookers, people taking out their cell phone and filming it, and nobody actually doing a thing.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, what does that say about the character of our country when we have become a people that will stand by and watch harm happen? And that's what Zuckerberg is doing. He has a window into the communications of every American, and not even just our country. I mean, he has a window into communications across this world. So he sees the foreshadowing of things before it even happens. He knew about Stop the Steal before it escalated into this huge riot on January 6th. right?
That's right.
But he has the ability to just shrug his shoulders. He has the privilege to shrug his shoulders and act like it's not his problem. But the reality, Ben, if we're witnessing something and we're not a part of the solution, that means, you guys, we're part of the problem.
That's right. That's right. That's right. Absolutely, Georgia. Yeah, no, I'm just listening and taking everything that you just said in, because it reminds me that this is on purpose. A lot of times we let these tech bros go out here and pretend as if they have a level of knowledge, or they have ascended to a level that transcends their bigotry, their racism, their misogyny, their patriarchy. We have to remember how Facebook got started. First of all, he stole it. He stole the idea from two twins. I forgot their names, but, there's a movie about it. Second of all, it started off as a way of choosing which face was prettier, which woman was the prettiest. And for all intents and purposes, Mark Zuckerberg built this democracy-breaking Facebook platform on the back of his incel, his inability to get a girl. And this is what we're dealing with. But we've given him the ability to have this prestige because he's a tech bro and Facebook does these wonderful things and it's so complicated. But in reality, no, we're dealing with a man who got where he did through theft, and also not just the theft of the platform, but of our data and all of our intimate conversations, intricate relationships. He makes his money off of our connectivity. And here we are at the mercy of him because now we've given him the power to disrupt our democracy.
Yeah. And I think he's created this algorithm that is not based on the common good or what's best for society, but he has created an algorithm that is going to generate the most money by getting you to watch more, by getting you to watch longer, even if that's at the expense of truth. And so if you enjoy a good conspiracy, Facebook will give it to you. Every single time you open that platform. And guess what? They're going to give you more, and they're going to give you longer versions, and they're going to give it to you from the people that you love. And that is what has really fostered these silos that we're seeing in our community. And that's why right now we're at a time where I believe our country is more polarized than it has ever been, because every time you pick up your phone, you're getting information that supports whatever it is you believe, even if it's not true.
That's right.
And so you're fed more and more and more of that. And then meanwhile, the people who have opposing views as you, to get them to watch more and to get to them to watch longer, they're seeing more and more and more of what it is that they believe in, even if it's not true. And so now you have people who have so many different ideas and perspectives to corroborate their thoughts and beliefs, even if it's not true.
That's right.
But it gives them the confidence that they need to show up in this world as though their beliefs and perspectives are undeniably true, because they've heard it from dozens of people on the internet who think just like them, who have these fake documents or fake websites that they can point to, and so it's like the snowball effect. It just keeps getting worse and worse. And at what point is Facebook going to intervene?